my own business, what's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke, if you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us.
Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. Also, thanks to those of you tuned in on the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channels if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, also on TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, Twitter at DGoddess27. Please double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channels. You all know that people become unsubscribed mysteriously. All right, I don't know how they do it because ScrewTube says it isn't them. Pay attention. Okay, so anyway, and if you don't like what I'm talking about, please, by all means, exit stage left. Please don't come here whining and complaining. Okay, so with that all been said, hey, Claudette, my fan page is in the house. All right. My fan page says still no wrench. I know, beloved, trust me. I was just trying to find a video where you were modding or where you were in the chat last time so I could give you a wrench. I have to do it after this live. I promise not to forget. Hey, Rodney, Lulu, Bronze Flat Power Goddess in the house, Kathy B, Leo Lion, Stony Jackson. All right, not Stony Jackson. I have to laugh every time I hear that. Lioness Den is in the house. That Crazy Beach Aries, Eileen. Okay, True Justice, Real Talk, BDTV, Queen Sam. All right, let's get into it. Isaiah, I see you. Tradinia. Okay, Emperor Rex in his house. All right. And so shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Shawana. Okay. And so let's get those likes up. Hey, Silent D, let's get those likes up. Y'all, please like and share. It doesn't cost you anything. And you all know that they have the Queen Shadow Band. Hey, Jeff ATL, Gloria, I see you, beloved. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Pearly, listen. It just gets more and more nefarious as the days go by, beloveds. So let me see what we're going to talk about first, because I have these receipts. First and foremost, let's talk about, you all may remember months ago, I did a story about a missing Black man by the name of Rasheem Carter. This man was down in Mississippi, and he was supposed to be catching a ride to work with someone. In fact, he did catch the ride to work with them, but the person who gave him the ride said they couldn't give him a ride home. And so he had no way to get home. Then he called his mother and said that he was being chased and some people were trying to delete him. I want you all to pay attention because now they have found his body, or shall I say, sadly, his body parts. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Oh, here's what they have to say. A black man was found deceased after he told his mother he was being chased. Police said, and I want y'all to listen to this. Police said there's no reason to suspect foul play. Oh, well, that's a lie. And I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. Rasheem Carter's mother said that before he disappeared in October, he called in a panic to say that white men were chasing him in trucks and hurling racial slurs. Now, not only that, so they say that the men chased him and shouted racial slurs. Now, they demanded a federal investigation on Monday. This is what the family did, along with their attorney, Benjamin Crump. They demanded a federal investigation after local authorities said that they had no reason to suspect foul play in the man's deletion. Now, Rasheem was 25 years old, and he was reported missing October the 2nd after his mother said he had sought help from police and frantically called her to say that white men in trucks were chasing him. You all remember because he actually went to the police station and asked if they could give him a ride. They said no. He asked if he could stay there. They said no. So they put him out there for the wolves. They knew what was going to happen to him, especially after I'm sure he told them that he was being chased. That's why he came there, because he was in fear for his life. They knew it. They didn't care. They were likely complicit. I wouldn't be surprised if the police were the ones who did it. Isn't that what they used to do back in the days of Jim Crow? Well, of course it is. Let's not forget who deleted those people down there in Mississippi, James Chaney and the two gentlemen who went down there with him. The two white men who went down there with him to help black folks vote in Mississippi. Okay, the movie Mississippi Burning was a depiction of that story. So yeah, that was the police that were involved in that. So anyway, on November the 2nd, authorities said they found his remains in a wooded area south of Taylorsville, Mississippi. In a statement on Facebook a day later, the Smith County Sheriff's Department said it had no reason to believe foul play was involved, though the case was under investigation. So the case is under investigation. But at the scene, they didn't see any reason. Well, okay, let's see about that. Because on Monday, Carter's loved ones and their attorney, Ben Crump, slammed the local authorities for stonewalling them for more than 4 months of the initial determination, saying they believe Carter was the victim of a brutal hate crime. Now, let's go to the footage of what Ben Crump had to say about this. Because this absolutely was a hate crime. I mean, I'm not even a police officer, but I have sense enough to know that. Okay? Just from the evidence that has already surfaced.
This was not a natural killing. This was not a natural death. This represents a young man who was killed. His head was severed from his body. His vertebrae, his spinal cord, was in another spot they discovered away from his severed head. They have recently found remains that they believe are also Rasheem Carter at another part of where he went missing. And what that tells us is that this was a nefarious act. This was an evil act. Somebody murdered Rasheem Carter.
That's absolutely what happened. And they want us to think that there's no reason for them to suspect foul play. Well, did he decapitate his own head? I have questions. But see, these things will continue to happen, people. These things will absolutely continue to happen until we just stop putting up with it. I want y'all to listen to this video. Hold on. I want you all to hear this. I shared this on my Twitter the other day. Uh, Never mind. I can't play it. I forgot it has music. Anyway, it was one of the generals of the military who received an award, and he was talking about how all these other countries want to come for the United States, and he was basically warning them and threatening them at the same time. He said, "We've seen war. We don't want war, but we will not be intimidated. And if you come for us, I promise you this: your children will be raised by someone else." Okay, that's what he told them. Their children will be raised by someone else. Now, until we start adopting that same ideology, well, these things will continue to happen. That's just what it is. These things will continue to happen. I'm not saying go out there and threaten anyone, but I am saying when we decide that we will no longer be intimidated, when we decide collectively that if anybody wants to give us the smoke, we're going to bring them the fire. Until then, this is what it is. And quite frankly, I'm getting sick and tired of reporting on these stories because they continue to fester. They are not changing. This has been going on for centuries in this country. This is still going on. The things that were supposedly left behind in Jim Crow are still right here. We're right back in Jim Crow. Matter of fact, we never left. We're still in Jim Crow. You mean to tell me that in 2023, they can find a person who looks like me swinging from a tree? Of course they can. And they'll just lie and say, oh, they did it to themselves. There's no reason to think that there's foul play. They're still out here lynching people who look like us. And let me tell y'all something else. You know, when I was talking about Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday, and how he's so hypocritical and he contradicts himself when he was talking about, you know, he wants to keep people being able to have freedom of speech, and the more talking that we do, the better. But this is the same fool who wants to implement laws to stop people from talking about the truth of their history, and specifically the things that they did to people who look like us. I find that very interesting, but here's the thing. They don't want to talk about critical race theory like I told you a week or so ago, because they're still doing the same things that are being taught in critical race theory. They're still doing those things. So they can't have us talking about it. They can't have people teaching these things to their children, because it's still going on. It's still going on. But let me continue. Oh, it's so crazy. His head was decapitated, but there's no reason to suspect foul play. They must think we're stupid, or they just don't care what we think. I'm going to say both. All of the above. So, Carter's front teeth were missing from the top and bottom rows, which Carter's family said could indicate that he was assaulted before he died. It's unclear what prompted authorities to search the wooded area that led them to determine initially that foul play was not suspected. The Smith County Sheriff's Department did not reply to the request for comments. I know he didn't. He can't explain it. He can't make it make sense. You found his body in a wooded area, teeth missing, head decapitated, other parts of his body found in totally different areas, and you're going to tell us no reason to suspect foul play? The Laura Police Department, which put out Carter's missing persons report, worked on the case early on after Carter's family asked for assistance. But Cox said that Tommy Cox, that's the chief of police down there, okay, where this all occurred, Chief Tommy Cox. Now, Chief Tommy Cox said that Carter had not contacted his department for help before he went missing. So I guess he lied to his mother when he said that he was at the police department and they didn't want to give him a ride or let him stay there. And that the Laura Police Department handed its investigation over to Smith County once it was clear that it was outside of their jurisdiction. See, now what they're doing is they're playing the blame game. Now they're pointing the finger at everybody else. This is what they do. This is to throw you off so that no one is held accountable. Oh, it wasn't us. It was out of our jurisdiction. You need to go talk to Smith County. Then you go to Smith County and they tell you, no, don't talk to us. You need to talk to Chief Tommy Cox. That's how that's going. Now, Cox said that his department pulled some phone records and may have interviewed some of Carter's co-workers, but he declined to elaborate further, saying that we tried to put ourselves in their shoes. It didn't hurt us to do a bit of work. We did what we considered to be the right thing. This is what the chief is saying. And then when it became obvious which jurisdiction would be in the lead, we just turned it over to them. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, which is assisting the sheriff in its probe, said Carter's autopsy was completed on February the 2nd, but declined to comment further, citing open and ongoing investigation. Isn't that what they always say when they don't want to tell the truth, when they don't want to give up the ingredients? Isn't that what they always say? It's an ongoing investigation. It's always an ongoing investigation in the beginning stages when you are looking for the truth and you don't have the answers that you seek, but to still come out on the news broadcast and talk about these things publicly. That's what they do when they're not trying to cover something up. Okay? That's how that goes. So they said they declined to comment further, citing open and ongoing investigation. The FBI is not currently involved in the case, and according to an agency spokesperson. 3 members of Carter's family said authorities told them that wild dogs tore his body apart. There was some wild dogs that walk on 2 legs, okay, with the names Chad and Brad. Now, right? Now, they say he was in so many different pieces. This is what Yokina Anderson, a cousin of Carter's mother, Tiffany Carter, said. They wanted to tell us that he went there and fell dead and the animals were feeding off of him. So he just fell dead, just passed out, just dropped, please. But Carter's mother said that her son was lucid about the threats that he faced during their final phone calls. So they really want us to just forget that people were threatening him and chasing him and hurling racial slurs. All of that happened. All those things happened, but none of those things had anything to do with his demise. Okay. But Carter's mother said her son was lucid during the phone calls and that he was not under the influence of drugs nor alcohol and had no history of mental illness. She had doubts that her son's death was an accident even before she saw where his remains were found. When I went to the scene, the Holy Spirit hit me and said, this is foul play. I knew then somebody had done something to him. Carter, a welder from Fayette, Mississippi, was in Taylorsville, about 100 miles away from home, working a short-term contracting gig. Now, his mother said that he was saving money to reopen his seafood restaurant, which closed during the pandemic and which was named after his 7-year-old daughter, Callie. That was his goal, she said. That was why he went back out to work. But while he was on the job site in October, Carter had a disagreement with at least one coworker and fled, fearing for his life. He said, I got these men trying to kill me. This is what he told his mother. She advised him to go to the nearest police station for help, but eventually lost contact with him. But the police are still sitting there lying, telling her he never showed up. Carter's family and friends led their own search parties until his remains were discovered. The cousin, Tiffany Carter, says, I never imagined going on living without my child. I'm sorry, the mother said that. When I lost my son, I lost a part of me. Carter's loved one said that he worked hard to provide for his daughter, paid for her private school tuition, and made his friends and family proud. He kept all his promises. This is what Callie's mother, his daughter's mom, Justice White, said. He called every day. They stayed on the phone for hours like teenagers. Every day she brings him up. This is all so sad. Tiffany says that she's going to continue to fight for answers. She says they thought this was going to be a child no one cared about. They're clearly mistaken because he was somebody. I also said this is just another tale that we've heard a myriad of times before. We've heard these stories a myriad of times before. This is what the devils do. And like I said, these things will continue to happen. Like, they don't take us seriously. They don't take us seriously. And how could they and why should they when we have our own people sitting up here being divisive, telling people, Black people from America, don't deal with these immigrants. they're not us. They come over here and take our benefits and all that. It sounds so stupid. Do you hear them doing that amongst themselves? Do you hear them saying, oh, do you hear Italians saying, oh, I'm not going to hang out with Polish people? They're from Poland. Do you hear them saying that? Do you hear them saying they're not going to hang out with people from England? Do you hear the Europeans say they don't want to deal with people from Germany, the Irish? They don't say those things. They don't say those things, but for some reason, our people are the only fools that do those things. And this is why we'll continue to keep getting taken out. See, what the situation is no matter where you are on this earth, no matter what region, country, wherever you are from, if you are heavily drenched in melanin, you are going to be holding to a system of wanton supremacy. You're going to be discriminated against. How do we sit up here and act like the Africans don't have the same issues as us when they're oppressing their own homeland? How does that make any sense? It doesn't. That's how. It doesn't make any sense. And no one can make any as far as I'm concerned. Now listen to this. This is also crazy. Okay, so this man, African American, whatever you choose to call him. Hold on, let me see if this is it. Yeah. So he was working at a construction site. Well, he now has a lawsuit because here's what happens. Construction worker sues employers for directing him to use the colored door. That's what they told him. You can't come in through this way. Go take that door. That's for coloreds. I told y'all, they still have us in Jim Crow. Jim Crow never went anywhere. They literally told a black man this September of 2022, just last year. An African-American construction worker has filed a lawsuit against Albany, New York, against an Albany, New York developer and one of its subcontractors, alleging that the developer superintendent told him he had to use the colored entrance to go into the break room at an Albany job site where the apartments were built. Now, the worker filed suit against Rosenblum. We know who that last name belongs to. Rosenblum Development and AJS Masonry, a concrete and masonry contractor in Clifton Park, New York, that his union had assigned him to work for in September of 2022. Now, the worker said in the suit that when he was asked to enter the trailer, when he asked if he could enter the trailer to heat his lunch in the microwave, Rosenblum's superintendent told him that he had to enter through a separate door due to his race. Blatant with it. He says, no, you're colored. This is what the superintendent told him. You're colored. Okay? Colored people have to use the other door designated for the colored people. The worker said in the suit that he was so distraught by the comment that he first went to sit in his car and eventually left the work site. The suit filed in the New York Supreme Court for Albany County alleges that Rosenblum's and AJS Masonry's conduct was so extreme and outrageous as to go beyond all possible bounds of decency and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. Filed under the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the complaint said that the emotional distress that the incident caused the worker was severe and of a nature that no reasonable person could be expected to endure. This is all so crazy. I just want y'all to know. Now, the suit claims as a result, the worker suffered physical, psychological, and financial harm, including anxiety that caused the worker's stomach to turn, as well as anxiety for working with white people. Seth Rosenblum, principal at Rosenblum Development, sent a statement to Construction Dive regarding the incident and the suit and said the firm fired the superintendent. Yeah, that was just damage control. They already knew it was racist. Now, upon learning of this troubled allegation, we immediately launched a swift but thorough investigation. This is what Rosenblum wrote. The employee who was the subject of the complaint was terminated. We have zero tolerance for discrimination or harassment of any kind at our workplaces and work sites, which strikes against the inclusive nature that we are committed to at Rosenblum. Please sit down. This is all just a load of BS. It's all just crazy. I don't even want to read the rest of this foolishness. Because all they are doing is lying. Someone said they moved into another site. While not listed in the suit, Albany News 13 reported that the worker is seeking $1 million in damages from the defendants. It also said Rosenblum had apologized for the incident through the worker's attorney as an act of good faith. Honey, miss me with it. Don't come at me talking about no act of good faith and trying to apologize when you knew exactly what was going on and you were complicit in it. Please don't come to me with no apology. That's the last thing I want from any racist. You can call me whatever, do whatever. Don't come back trying to apologize. Okay? That's what you don't ever need to do. Please. So job site discrimination within construction has become a focal point of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, otherwise the EEOC. Last May, the agency held a hearing looking at complaints within the sector and has since issued a steady stream of fines, as well as suits and penalties against contractors who allegedly engage in discrimination. This is all so crazy. All so crazy. Now, the Tennessee House just passed a bill completely gutting marriage equality. So let's talk about it. The bill could allow county clerks to deny marriage licenses to same-sex, interfaith, or interracial couples in Tennessee. I'm absolutely not surprised at all. They said the Tennessee House of Representatives passed the bill that would allow people to refuse to perform a marriage if they disagree with it. According to the bill, which passed Monday night, a person shall not be required to solemnize marriage. The bill, which now moves to the state Senate, is the latest in the onslaught of measures that the Tennessee legislature has passed down attacking LGBTQ rights. This bill would also apply to couples where at least one partner is transgender or to mixed race couples. See, you know what this is all about. I just want you all to pay attention. This is really all about control. They're trying to control every little thing that we do. Now they want to tell you who you can date. They want to tell you who you can marry, whether you can't marry the person or whatever, because they'll simply just not perform the ceremony. This is all so crazy. They just won't even perform the ceremony. Now, Tennessee House bill just completely gutted marriage equality. So they go on to say, likes up, everyone, please get the likes up. They go on to say, Allison Chapman posted to Twitter and says, Tennessee House passed a bill not requiring anyone to solemnize marriage if they disagree with it. Now, this allows people to refuse to marry queer couples, trans couples, even interracial couples. They're coming for all of us, not just trans people. Well, we already know that they're coming for us. We already know. We already know that they're coming for us. Do we not? Do we not? They've been coming for us. They always have. This is all so crazy. This is almost unbelievable, except it's believable because they've done this before, because they've always done these type of things. But it's unbelievable, almost unbelievable, that they continue to get away with it. It's almost unbelievable that they still continue to get away with it. And I'm going to have to say that the only reason that they get away with this is not because they're allowing themselves to do it. No, they're getting away with it because we allow them to. We allow them to get away with it. This is our fault. I just want y'all to know this is our fault. Because we got too many scared to death Negroes who won't stand up, who won't speak out. And I'm not talking about marching. Stop marching. What are we marching for? Didn't Dr. King march? He led a whole civil rights movement where they marched and marched and marched. Did they not? That didn't solve anything, because here we are right now dealing with the same things in 2023 that they dealt with. So why would we march? It's not time to march. I think the smart ones amongst us know exactly what time it is. Some of y'all need to wake up. This is getting beyond ridiculous, including nefarious. You know what? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Some of our people are so scared and so full of self-hate and just plain niggerance that in fact I do believe that if they said to us, we're going to put y'all back in chains, yokes of iron around your necks, and put you back on plantations, some of y'all would just get up, pack your bags, and go. Some of you would. Some of our people would just get up, pack their bags, whatever they can grab, and just walk themselves onto the plantation. I believe it. You heard that stupid girl the other day who said she's not going to submit to a black man because a black man's a slave just like she is, and she'll submit to the slave master who's the white man. Let me tell y'all something about that fool. Because I went on her TikTok page. And the reason I went on there was to see how much smoke she was getting from black folk. But let me tell you what this fool is now saying. Well, she went and did a little research, and she came back and she starts talking about how we're still slaves, because of the Constitution and all this stuff. She went on stating some things that were true. That didn't have anything to do with what she said as far as I'm concerned. Because we all know, if we're smart, and I believe we are, most of us, we all know that when she said what she said, she wasn't technically talking about the fact that we're slaves because of what the Constitution said. She was basically saying that we're slaves because she feels that white people are superior and we're inferior, and that they run things and we don't. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. It's not just the fact that she said we were slaves, because here's the narrative she's trying to paint. I want y'all to pay attention, because I'm going to go in on her today. I didn't have time yesterday. I was just looking at her page and reading the comments, but I'm going to go in on her. I'll probably even do my own video going in on her on TikTok. But here's the thing. She tried to paint the narrative that we're mad, black folk, because she called us slaves. I'm not mad because she called us slaves. I'm not mad about that. What I'm mad about is that this fool is the fact that she said she would not submit to a black man, but she'd submit to the slave master. You see, I'm mad because she called the white man the slave master. I don't have a master. Okay? I don't have a master. I'm my own boss. I'm my own master. Okay? Now, if we want to get technical and talk about slavery, well, the global elites, the 1% that run this world, well, they have us all really enslaved. Because they're the ones running everything and dictating all the narratives. And think about it. They tell us what we can say and when we can say it. They don't just do that to black folk. They do it to their own folk too. I mean, it doesn't matter what race you are. If you say something on ScrewTube that they don't like that goes against the narrative and agenda, they will censor you. The fact of the matter is that fool said that she will only submit to the slave master. That's what she said. That's why she's a whole fool. Don't sit up here now try to act like we're mad because you called us slaves. We're the descendants of slaves. We're not on plantations. But to a certain degree, yes, we are still slaves. You do something wrong, you commit a crime, they can send you to the plantation that they now call a prison. Yeah, we are still slaves, but not just us. Not just us. Everyone under the global elites, under the 1% who do all the nefarious things that makes all the plots and plans, they're all slaves. So when she says that the black man is a slave just like her, so she's not going to submit to him, she sounds crazy. She sounds crazy because in reality, the white men, their women, in their minds, are beneath them, right? Now, do you think that you're going to hear Karen, Kate, Becky, and Heather ever say that they're not going to submit to Brad and Chad, but they will to Tyrone and Ray Ray? Let me continue. So anyway, remember how back in the day, in the 50s, it was against the law for people to marry interracially? Well, they want that back in Tennessee. They want that back. Tennessee law already says that religious leaders do not have to officiate weddings that they object to. Critics say the new bill goes beyond that and would empower county clerks to actually refuse to certify marriage licenses, meaning that LGBTQ, interfaith, or interracial couples could be unable to get married at all. Rather than just needing to find a new officiant for their ceremony, they may not be able to get married at all. Now, marriage equality is technically the law of the land thanks to the Respect for Marriage Act, which President Joe Biden signed in December. But Tennessee's bill exploits a major loophole in the law. You see, critics had long warned that the Respect for Marriage Act did not go far enough. The bill had been amended during the debate process to say that religious organizations do not have to marry same-sex couples, and the law also does not require states to actually issue same-sex marriage licenses. Isn't that something? This latest bill was passed alongside another measure that would require drag artists to obtain a permit from the government in order to perform. Both come just days after Governor Bill Lee signed two new laws, one banning drag performances in public and another banning gender-affirming care for minors. Well, I don't think minors should have gender-affirming care. I absolutely don't. You should be an adult when you make that decision. I've heard numerous of stories, and I've told you all about them, where these young kids get these different puberty blockers they take, and they have these different surgical procedures, and then later on, they regret it. So they say, instead of focusing on the issues that Tennesseans actually care about, radical politicians are wasting their time and using their power to target the LGBTQ community. This is what HRC Legal Director Sarah Warbelow said in a statement. These bills are not about protecting children, and they're not about religious freedom. They are about stripping away the basic human rights that LGBTQ people have fought for decades and labeling us as dangerous. Well, welcome to my world. Isn't that what they've always done to Black folk? They've always labeled us as dangerous. They've always, just been so hostile against us, taking away our basic human rights. They've done all those things to us and continue to do so. Supporters of Tennessee's bills and dozens of similar ones moving through state legislatures across the country say their main goal is protecting children. Trans people and drag performers have become a particular target for Republicans and right-winged extremist groups who accuse them of being pedos. But all these bills do is vilify LGBTQ people, including children, and expose them to more violence. I want to tell you something. When they discriminate against LGBTQ, things get done about that. They get bills enacted to protect them. They have the hate crime bill for them. They get certain levels of protection that we as Black people are not even afforded. And we've been going through this longer than anyone on the planet. Pay attention. So it is what it is. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone, please get those likes up. Now, let's talk a bit more about this bill.
This was not a natural.
My mistake. Let's talk about a little bit more about this bill, HB 1020. Likes up, everyone. Please do not forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
House Bill 1020 has passed the Senate, keeping the controversial bill alive.
12 News' Richard Lake joins us live from the Capitol with more on what has changed. Richard, tell us what happened today in the Senate.
Well, after nearly 3 hours of debate in the Senate did pass the bill with even more amendments this time, but they still don't have support from the Jackson delegation.
It is vastly improved from where it started, but it is still a snake, and it needs to be defeated.
We cannot get out of this session without doing something. It just would not be the right thing, because we all have a connection to Jackson.
2 amendments were adopted in the Senate's version and will now be sent back to the House for consideration. The first amendment adds the Hinds County Sheriff's Office into the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Jackson and the Department of Public Safety over the potential citywide jurisdiction increase of Capitol Police.
Oh, so crazy. Oh, so crazy. But let me just say this. So Tennessee and Mississippi, I wouldn't want to live in either of those places, to be honest with you. Just absolutely would not. Now, here's the thing. In Mississippi, they have these Republicans down there who are clearly racist. They don't want to work with Democrats, and they don't want to work with black folk, period. And so, with that all being said, they leave all of these problems. They refuse to fix anything and do anything. And then they want to point the finger and then blame it on the black folk, like the black mayor. Yeah, that's what they want to do. You see, they have a system down there. It's called the good old boys. If you've ever heard of that, that's what they call it, the good old boys system. It's where they all scratch one another's backs and they all team up and they push the same narratives and agenda and they all stand against the black people collectively. This is what they do. Now, they're currently trying to force gentrify certain areas of Jackson, okay? But funny thing is, years ago, when segregation ended, and trust me, it took longer for segregation to end in Mississippi than it did anywhere in this country. But when segregation ended and the white folk realized they could no longer just try to oppress the black folk and tell them what to do and tell them to stay out of certain places and spaces, once that all happened, they left. That's why right now today, Jackson, Mississippi is predominantly black because the white folk got up and left. They said, well, if we can't tell them ninjas what to do, we'll just leave. So that's how that went. At the end of the day, they're trying to set the black people up for failure, okay? It's what they're trying to do. So, moving right along to the next topic. Everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, this next video is a news reporter was given a report on the scene, and somebody, I think it was Pookie or Ray Ray, ran through the crime scene. Now, you know, they blocked the police, that is, they blocked the crime scene off for a reason, because they don't want evidence destroyed, messed up, whatever, knocked over, you name it. They don't want the crime scene area where any of the crimes occurred at. They don't want that tampered with because they don't want someone to, you know, let's just say you went through there and you got your DNA on the crime scene. Well, that's going to mess up what's going on. But I want y'all to pay attention. That's going to mess up the forensic testing that they do. You may trample over footsteps, fingerprints, anything. But I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this food, okay?
We spoke to you. We knew that Memphis police were saying that at least 4 people had been shot. Since then, they now confirmed to Fox 13 that 2 of those people shot are dead. Of the other 2, they say, have been transported to hospitals. Let me step out of the shot, my photographer. We got something going on here, as you can see, unfolding now on your screen. A gentleman running through the crime scene. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but typically police do not appreciate people, as you can imagine, going through crime scenes. I'm going to see if I can ask him, what's going on? What are you doing?
Fuck what you talking about, man?
All right. A lot of emotion out here. As you can see, what's going on?
Man, I ain't trying to shit you talking about.
All right, a lot of emotion out here right now. As I said, 2 people confirmed dead. This coming directly from Memphis police. Again, Dominique, when you came to us, as you can see right there, it looks like they are taking this gentleman to the ground. Not sure who he is or exactly what's going on, why they appear to be arresting him right now. Emotions are understandably raw. When I spoke to someone earlier, a woman said that she was believed it was her 2 grandsons that might possibly be injured. Producer Madison, if you said something, I didn't catch that. But again, this is here on Essex, the block. It spans multiple blocks, multiple police units here. We'll get a handle on exactly what is going on here. As you see this gentleman, again, placed into handcuffs. And as soon as we figure out what's going on, we'll let you know. Make sure you stay tuned to Fox 13 News. We have an update for you on our 5 p.m. news. Back to you, Dominique.
That was just also ghetto. It was just also ghetto. I just wanted y'all to see that. He ran through the whole crime scene. But here's the thing. My question is, after he fled, why did he turn around and come back? You could have just stayed there in the first place. Now they manhandled you as they wanted to do in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. Pay attention. Oh, so crazy. Okay, so I want you all to see this video of this idiot who was trying to rob this Asian woman. She's from the Philippines. She had gone to the bank to get money out to go back home to the Philippines. And this thug, Pookie or Ray Ray, decides he wants to rob her. He clearly saw her get this money from the bank. Let me tell y'all something. Word of advice. Always watch your surroundings. Always. Specifically if you're going into a bank to withdraw large sums of cash. I never walk around with cash, ever. I never walk around with cash. Even if I have cash, you're not going to catch me walking around with it. Anybody try to rob me, they're just going to be practicing. And they better be quick to the draw, because I am. So all I'm saying. But anyway, let me pull this up so you all can see this idiot. This is so disgraceful. Y'all saw that? Now the sad thing is not only did he rob that woman of her $4,000, she's now paralyzed. She was left paralyzed after that because he body slammed her. I hope he gets exactly what he deserves. Because that could have been anyone. Texas woman left paralyzed after thief body slams her and steals her $4,300. And so the incident was caught on camera. Nyang Truong has been unable to use one of her legs since she was assaulted by a man February the 13th after withdrawing the large sum of cash from a bank. She's 44 years old and was followed to a shopping center 24 miles from the bank, where the suspect approached her and tried to make off with the money. She dropped some of her personal items during the struggle with the man. Footage shared by Houston police shows the struggle. Now, the thief took off with one item before quickly returning, lifting Truong off the ground and ruthlessly slamming her into the pavement before he ran off with her money. Oh, so crazy. But even worse is Truong's spinal cord was damaged in the attack, and she's unable to use her left leg, according to her family. They don't know when my leg can walk again, she said. This is what she says. It's not a big loss for the money, but the big loss is her leg. She's a single mother of 3 and came to the United States from Vietnam. I'm sorry, I thought she was from the Philippines. Now, the victim's mother explained her daughter has already had a tough life, losing her husband to liver cancer 7 years ago. She needs constant care, including help going to the bathroom now. Doctors reportedly say that there is a 50% chance that she will be able to walk again. 50% chance. If a miracle happens, then she can walk again. That's what her daughter says. This is all so sad. The money she took out of the bank was supposed to be to go toward a trip to Vietnam for her and her family. The family is pleading for financial assistance for the mother's care and everyday expenses. This is all so sad. Like, what is wrong with these devils? This is all so terrible. Oh, so terrible. Pay attention. There she is right there in her hospital bed. Queen Sam says these thugs will help keep the stereotype of our people going. Yeah, they absolutely will. They absolutely will. Oh, so crazy. So, but here's the thing though. They'll keep the stereotype going for us, but I'm just wondering why Brad and Chad's don't have stereotypes, because they're thugs too. And they came from thugs. They have a whole legacy of thuggery. Let's pay attention. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about all the people that have pillaged, plumaged, raped, deleted, committed genocide, and started wars and all of that, that was people who look like Brad and Chad, not us. But it's so funny that people, when they think of violence and thugs, they think of us first. Isn't that something? How do they think of us first? We were the ones that our ancestors were enslaved in this country. We know from history that they don't want to talk about. Pay attention. But we know from history who the real thugs are. Who are the ones that are inherently more violent than some. I'm just saying. Anyway, likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let's talk about this lady who went up to the school to fight her daughter's 12-year-old bully.
The woman checked in at the school intercom system here, but rather than going to the school office to formally sign in, she went to a 7th grade classroom and allegedly assaulted a child. Police say 41-year-old Kelly Sadiq entered the school around 8:15 Tuesday morning. Accompanied by her own child, she went to the 7th grade area and confronted a 12-year-old over an alleged harassment of her daughter. A verbal confrontation escalated.
And at that time, the student tried to turn and walk away, and the parent grabbed a hold of the student's arm, leaving a pretty nice-sized red mark and bruise on that arm.
Police say a teacher saw what happened and immediately intervened. That's when Charles Bates, who exclusively is speaking with 11 News, got the call about what happened to his daughter.
The biggest concern was how quickly she got into the school, she bypassed the office, and then she got a direct location of where my daughter was. She could have had a weapon, she could have had anything. So that's the most frightening part about it.
Harford County Public Schools say they have safety measures in place for visitors, and their staff took action as soon as Sadiq broke protocol.
We vet folks that are coming into our schools. Protocol was followed today by our staff. Unfortunately, we had a parent who decided to break protocol, but fortunately, we had staff members that immediately identified through their vigilance and just knowing the building that there was something that was not right, and immediately stepped in to take action.
Sadiq is now charged with second-degree assault and trespassing. In Aberdeen, I'm Tommy Clark, WBAL TV 11 News.
Well, some parents will fight for their children, and they don't care who they have to fight. That man should be teaching his daughter not to be a bully. This is absolutely true. But you can't go around jumping on children, okay? You can't do it. You can't go around jumping on children because they're bullying your kids. That's just not the answer. Because see, here's what happens. If your child is being bullied and you as the parent go up there and confront the bully and you fight them or you go in on them, well, now you're the bully. Now you're the bully. So it's always best, in my opinion, if your child is being bullied by someone, to go and talk to the bully's parents. To go and talk to the bully's parents. And if the bully's parents don't want to correct their child well, then you know what to do next. Talk to the parents again. Okay? And if talking doesn't work, well, I'm just saying. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Now, parents are the problem, not the brainwashed. All about their own power and propaganda. All so crazy. So, with that all being said, let's talk about this pastor, this first lady, right? Jamilian, or what is her name? Hold on. Jamilian, I believe that's her name. I may not be saying it right. Hold on. Let me look it up real quick. But this woman is upset because Jamelia, that's her name, Jamelia Gooden. She's upset. The pastor is upset. She's also the first lady because she said some woman was trying to come between her and her husband. Well, here's what the pastor had to say about it. And I found this all very interesting, to say the least.
Of hell. It was hell. I never knew I could go through so much hell, Trina. It was hell. The woman from Atlanta that tried to come in between me and my husband. This woman says she's a prophetess. She got a word from my husband. I said, no, you ain't got a word for him. You got a word for us. Natasha Davis. I told you, I'm not your typical first lady. This first lady fight. And if I catch you in the street, I warned you. I warned you. I'm a Brooklyn chick. That'll never change. I'm just an anointed Brooklyn chick. And I'm coming for that ass.
Did y'all hear that foolishness? First of all, somebody said, is that Monique? She does sound like Monique a bit. But here's what I find interesting. She said, I'm a Brooklyn chick. Let me ask y'all something, people from New York. Why do people from New York, when they want to fight and they about to give somebody the smoke, why do people from New York, when they're not in New York, always announce that they're from New York? Y'all notice that, or is it just me? People from New York, when they're not in New York and they're about to fight, they will absolutely let you know they're from New York. Pay attention. I have noticed this all my life. This is what New York people do. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. They start shouting out boroughs and sets and all that. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from Harlem. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. They're going to tell you where they're from. That's what they're going to do. But anyway, she said she was an anointed girl from Brooklyn. Well, didn't sound too anointed to me. Getting ready to fight and all that and talking about, I warned you. No, you didn't warn her. You pretty much threatened her. There's a difference. But here's the thing. Even if the lady was trying to come between her and her husband, and I'm not condoning that because, you know, home wrecking is not just a good thing to do. But what I'm saying is if she's secure in her relationship and secure with her husband, then this woman wouldn't even be a threat. And the anger and hostility that she has, maybe it's being misdirected and it should be directed towards her husband more so than the lady. Because if this woman was able to cause a rift in your marriage, beloved Ed, maybe you need to talk to your husband about it. That's all I'm saying. Maybe she should be trying to talk to her husband about it. Okay? Somebody said they noticed that too. Okay? Ladybug said, I noticed that also, Queen. Okay, absolutely. So she should be talking to her husband. Talk about if I see you in the streets. Please sit down somewhere. Miss Hotel said if ghetto was a person. Okay. But let me continue because it gets more nefarious, just so you know. This is also a video about church. Not church, but church. This is a video, and this is why I don't go to church anymore. I just want y'all to pay attention. This is it right here. Pay attention.
Okay. Well, we have to deal with the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the
Pastor,
room.
I'm just be honest with you. Look, I'm not gonna come up here and give y'all all my money that I make every month. I'm just sorry. I've been fair.
Well, we're not looking for you to give
I put $20 a week, and then sometimes I feel good. I have
$20 a week is like giving a dollar.
Could I say something? Is that your 10% of your earnings?
It's my business. That's what it is.
I wrote it down.
Did you get your 10%?
I wrote it down what you made.
Look here.
I wrote it what you made.
She wrote what you make, and see, it does not reach.
Well, I got to just find me. I'm not going to let y'all attack me.
Yeah. Well, we're not.
You know, I know robbery strong arm.
Let me do. Let's talk about robbery. In the book of Malachi, it talks about will a man rob God?
Man, let me tell you something. I really don't even believe in the 10%. I'm going to just be honest with you. I think that was man-made. You feel me? Because back then, when they came up with 10%, ain't nobody had jobs.
Who told you folk didn't have jobs?
What job was? Everybody paying everybody with apples and oranges and bananas.
When people don't tithe, normally they'll end up being sick. They'll take it to the doctor. And
that's why I tithe.
Because God is going to eventually get his.
That's why I tithe.
Get it some way. Somewhere. Car breakdown.
It shouldn't break down. I bought it from you. You the one sold me the car. Be in here talking about my money. No way.
These people are sick. These people are absolutely sick. Now they're sitting there telling him, Dracula said, you're right, Queen. Thank you, beloved. They're sitting there telling this man how much he has to pay. And then saying that the lady wrote it down how much that he makes. This is all crazy. And then, hold on, but this is the worst part of it. They said that when you don't tithe, usually bad things happen. You get sick, your car breaks down, because God gonna get his one way or another. First of all, who said that God needs their money? You think God needs 10% of our earnings? That's what he said. Because God's gonna get his one way or another. Okay, so you can be a good person. Let me just get this straight. You could be a good person. You could be as humble, righteous, and giving and loving to other people as you could be. And then you may lose your job or just may be short on finances. So you mean to tell me that God, the Most High, is not going to bless you because you didn't pay your tithe to church? You see how they run these cons. And you see, this is the reason why these grifters that we have on social media, this is why they always target religious people. Because not only do they feel the need to have something to believe in, but just look at that. First of all, they wouldn't even have had me in that office talking to me about my own cash. Okay? They wouldn't even have called me in there. If they did, I wouldn't have gone. You don't tell me what to do. Stop pocket watching, church. Now the churches are pocket watching. Yes, of course they are. Because now church is a business. Boy, I tell you what, church sure isn't what it used to be. Church sure isn't what it used to be. I mean, people don't even dress up to go to church anymore. Women come in there with their cleavage all out, mini skirts, splits all the way up the thigh. The men come in there to see the women, many of them. I know somebody specifically, I'm not going to call their name, but they told me they go to church looking for women. They haven't found one yet, at least not one that they can keep. This is all so crazy, but this is what goes on. And I noticed, by the way, I was reading the comments. Miss Hotel said Bussy Rick and Wig, okay? Yes, pulpit pimps, that's what they are. But also, I noticed while the video was playing, I was reading the comments, and I saw all my little people from New York going in. Telling me don't hate, and then shouting out what part of New York they were from. Now y'all see what I'm talking about? They definitely started saying what part of New York they were from. I love it. Y'all are something else. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I will be going live on the spiritual channel, Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. I'll be going live on there at 12:30. It's like 10:38 now. Yeah, I'll be going live on there at 12:30. I'll also be uploading something for members only today. Okay, so pay attention. With that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor.
Soul all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done.